Hello, boys and girls. This is your friend, Bill Martin.
And this is your friend, John Archambault.
And this is your friend, Al Caiola.
And here we are, hoping you're wide awake, boys and girls, for a sleepy time book. Good night, Mr. Beetle. Have you found it? Well, open to the first page where the story begins. That's on page 2. There's a picture of a beetle. Oh, what a shiny, brittle body he has, looking at the moon. Have you found it? You can follow along. I'm going to read it. Here we go. Good night, Mr. Beetle. Good night, Mr. Fly. Good night, Mrs. Ladybug. The moon's in the sky. Good night, Mr. Robin. Good night, Mrs. Wren. Good night, Mr. Sparrow. It's bedtime again. Good night, Mr. Rooster. Good night, Mrs. Sheep. Good night, Mr. Horse. We must all go to sleep. Good night, Miss Kitten. Good night, Mr. Pup. I'll see you in the morning when the sun comes up. Oh, isn't that a wonderful one? Oh, you can wake up everybody. Yeah. Let's turn back to the beginning. We're going to read it in parts this time. Now, you can choose to read either with me or with John. I'll read one line, and then John will respond. I'll read the next line, and then John will respond. So you can either be a Bill or a John on this, either one of us. And are you ready, John?
I'm ready, Bill.
How about all you Johnites out there? Are you ready?
We're the flies, Bill. We haven't figured it out.
Here we go. Everybody reading with Bill. Good night, Mr. Beetle.
Good night, Mr. Fly.
Good night, Mrs. Ladybug. The moon's in the sky.
Good night, Mr. Robin.
Good night, Mrs. Wren.
Good night, Mr. Sparrow. It's bedtime again.
Good night, Mr. Rooster.
Good night, Mrs. Sheep.
Good night, Mr. Horse. We must all go to sleep.
Good night, Miss Kitten.
Good night, Mr. Pup.
I'll see you in the morning when the sun comes up.
Wow, that was well done, everybody. And now for a great surprise. Guess what, John? We're going to ask the children to turn back to the beginning of the story. And are you ready for this, kids? You're going to read it all by yourselves. Everybody ready? On your page 2? All right. Read it to us. Here you go. Boys and girls, you put John to sleep. Goodbye.